In our daily lives, we let American companies take over every aspect of our lives, from the phones in our pocket to the entertainment we consume. In our businesses, we talk to each other on American services, we chat to each other on American servers, we send to our code to America, which we wrote on American operating systems. Slowly, right in front of our eyes, we got boiled alive. In the worst cases, we got vendor locked into specific companies. And elsewhere, we get de facto locked into convenience offered by other companies. We saw the US as friendly, but swiftly the government has turned against us and our institutions. So much so that in our businesses, we cannot know if the servers and the services we rely on are going to be there tomorrow. In our businesses, we have exposed ourselves to total operational disruptions. Additionally, the data that is being hosted in America can now be exposed either by force or voluntarily to potentially hostile actors. This cannot continue. Individuals and businesses in Europe have to look for a European alternative to secure our continued operation. But there's a cost. By letting American companies consume all the data and money over the past 15 years, our local alternatives here either do not exist or are way behind technologically or visually. We now have to pay the cost. The cost is both concrete and immaterial. Hardware and software built in Europe is going to cost more than the American counterpart. Companies that do not compensate their costs by harvesting user data, which they can then later sell for profit, have to sell their services and hardware with higher price. We as consumers have gotten used to free services, so much so that the alternatives look crazy high when we look at the price. But the reality is that the freeness is an illusion created by business models that turned us into products. By indirectly or directly investing into US-based software companies, the software they built has become extremely polished. The convenience of Google Mail is unquestionable. Switching to alternatives makes you feel like you're stepping back in time, because you are. Software companies are not charities. Building great user experiences takes money. We now have to redirect the money we're sending to America back to Europe so we can catch up right here. That means paying more for services and products that are not up to par with the American counterparts. We at Snapp are putting our money where our mouth is. Since the start of the company over 10 years ago, we've been relying on Google services as well as Slack for our communications. Both are really well-polished packages, laser focused on selling you stuff. But not anymore. We're moving to Nextcloud. In this series of videos, we will document our path towards Nextcloud from these American services. We started the path a few months ago. It's not been easy. There's a lot of hurdles on the way, but I understand why they are there. And I also understand why we need to do those. We want to bring you with us the journey, hopefully inspire you to do the same. And maybe you can learn from our mistakes, maybe you can learn from the difficulties we encounter. In this video still, I want to talk about a couple of problems we encountered, some of the big problems of Nextcloud, and kind of explain where we are right now. In future videos, we're going to be talking specifically problem solving, migration, all of those kind of things. Okay, so we decided to move to Nextcloud. But what is Nextcloud? Nextcloud is a company in Germany. It's also a packaged software that the company sells, but it's also an open source project or collaboration between multiple open source projects. So as a newcomer coming from American services that are polished and geared towards one-click sales, the process of understanding Nextcloud and what we as a company have to do to migrate to it has been extremely difficult process. Creating a mental model, what we are buying, has required multiple calls, conference visits, and trying to figure out the website. While the website is quite nice, the information there is very, very difficult to understand. So you can go to a third-party website that has one-click installation on Nextcloud and you can have it running within minutes and you can give it a go and try. So then as a business owner, I go back to Nextcloud GmbH, the company, and say, why do I have to buy it? There's certain things that we get out of it. Office tooling. But what is actually Nextcloud Office? Is it the Collabora Office? Because I think it is. But it's very unclear. Even after running it, I don't really know what the Office is. It works fine. All the file formats works fine. I can edit all the documents. Everything works fine. But I don't know what I'm using to edit them. Nextcloud also, as a software package, doesn't have email. which was massively surprising to us. So we bought a Nextcloud Enterprise package from Nextcloud GmbH, and we had to buy separately a email server from our hosting provider. And having to deal with two companies, the Nextcloud software package and the software company and a hosting provider, is really painful. When there's two companies, there's always a risk of them pointing to each other when there's a problem. In our case, we haven't had that. Our hosting provider is fine, which was recommended to us by the salespeople and Nextcloud. But why can't I just have one package? I don't want to deal with those two things. I know on principle it's great to have separation. Now, if you have a problem with our current hosting provider, you can migrate all the installation to another one. I like that there's this separation, but I don't want to be worrying about it when I start this migration process. It's too much work and it's too much to understand. And why doesn't Nextcloud have integrated email in it? We now have an email server that has different logging, different maintenance, everything from the Nextcloud. Our enterprise software should be revolving around email. That's what Google does, that's what Microsoft does. They do it because that's important. That's the center of everybody's communication in business world. And that's what is missing from here. Now, where are we with Snapp and our migration towards Nextcloud? We bought an enterprise package from Nextcloud and we hosted it in our hosting provider. It's now running. We have a small group of pilot users already using it. It's running fine. I'm using it daily. I'm moving away from Google already. Naturally, it's not as polished as the other service we're using. There's a lot of kind of friction of getting on board, but once you get used to it, the quirks and everything, it's actually quite fine. Now, we're waiting for the new update. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know who's going to give us the new update, but it looks like the Nextcloud 25 autumn version, which is 32 points whatever, seems to have a lot of features that we really need. Currently, we're using Talk as replacement for Slack. It's fine, but it's quite outdated. The new version seems to have a lot of features like threads that are missing in the current version. We have a separate email server that is working fine, but it has different logins. It's connected to our domain. Our Nextcloud is connected to our domain. Everything's working and everything is stable. Everything is a little bit behind, but that's understandable. The next version looks very good. I'm looking forward to having hands-on time on that one. There's a lot of things that are strange and a lot of things that are difficult to handle. So in next episode of this series, I want to talk to Enrique, who's our CTO, who's been handling all of this technical transition and the technical setup together with the hosting provider and has a very good understanding of what's happening under the hood. While I might sound quite critical, my intention is not to be mean. I think my critique is justified and meant to be constructive. Our intention is fully to support Nextcloud, the company, and the open source project to get better. Our goal is to migrate Snapp into full Nextcloud system and full Nextcloud infrastructure, as well as to build a knowledge base and understanding how to do it. We want to be able to help other companies to do the same, whether formally engaging in a project together or informally helping you to find the information you need yourself. This will benefit everybody. Nextcloud is a core for European future. There are other services that do similar things, but none of them are as complete as Nextcloud is. Nextcloud is also open. We should be able to work together to make it better. We should be able to improve the usability issues there are. We should be able to give feedback about all of the discoverability issues and understanding things. And these are all things that can be fixed. With time and money, these things will get better. And none of these issues are blockers. None of these issues are huge issues. It's more about just finding the priorities to work on quality issues as well as the features themselves. What we saw in the last presentation, next upcoming version of Nextcloud, things are getting the right direction for sure. I am very hopeful and very positive about the future of Nextcloud as European infrastructure for European companies and beyond. We are all in with Nextcloud and we are happy to help if you want to be as well. There's going to be a link down below where you can reach out if you want to. So in the next episodes, we're going to be doing deep dives into the infrastructure and the requirements and the steps towards the first installation of a business-wide installation of Nextcloud and migration from the American services. From that on, we're going to be looking at quality issues and usability issues and hopefully kind of laying foundation of where we would like to see the Nextcloud project heading towards. But like I said, I understand why we are here. These problems can be overcome. The future of Nextcloud is bright, in my opinion. There's other services coming online as well. There's a lot of positive energy in Europe. Let's work together to push this over the hump and get to a place where we have real alternatives to run our businesses securely, reliably, and friendly way. So that's all for this episode. Stay tuned for the next ones. They're going to be posted on the same channel over the coming weeks and coming months. If you have any questions or thoughts, reach out to the comments or email, whichever way is best for you. If there's any specific aspect you would like us to look into, let us know. We will dig into it. We are in the process of making ourselves into Nextcloud specialists. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.